It has been 10 years since the United States launched combat operations in Iraq, and tonight we begin our special series looking at the war and its impact called Rethinking Iraq. First, here's a timeline of some of the war's major events. On March 19, 2003, then US President George W. Bush announced US and coalition forces had begun military action. On April 9, 2003, coalition forces pulled down the statue of Saddam Hussein in Baghdad. The next month, US President Bush announced major combat operations had ended, but the reality turned out to be far different, with sectarian violence and a rise in the strength of insurgent forces. The US would not pull out the bulk of its troops until December of 2011. Since the invasion of Iraq by the US-led coalition in 2003, it's estimated more than 100,000 Iraqis have been killed in shootings, bombings and other attacks. Some estimates put that figure as high as 500,000. Many have been innocent bystanders. In the past 18 months, some stability has returned to the capital, Baghdad, although attacks are still common. Tony Cheng met one Iraqi family who told him what it's like in the Iraqi capital these past 10 years.
Baghdad, a city at war with itself and with its American invaders. It's been a decade of insurgency, instability and occupation. The Americans have now gone, but Baghdad is left with scars that run deep and have yet to heal. But what's been the effect on an ordinary Iraqi family?
As you know, there are a lot of booby traps and explosions, so often we can't even go to the market. We prefer to stay at home.
The Mahdi family has been living here since the invasion in 2003. It's comfortable but cramped. They moved because their old home in Sadr City was too dangerous, but danger is never far away. Nazar, the father, a sanitation engineer, has been unemployed most of that time. He occasionally gets work as a day labourer, but it's far from enough to meet the soaring inflation that's pushed prices up 300% in a decade.
These are the circumstances we live in. If I go out and work for half a day, I can barely afford half of the needs of my family. My son has an allowance of $90 for 2 months from the government, which is barely enough for his needs.
Mutaz, their son, was a normal 10-year-old in 2003. Then he started to lose control of his limbs. Since then, he's lost almost all control, and his body has wasted away. Iraqi doctors have told his parents treatment is only available overseas, and US military medics were little help.
Take my reports, and they have left, and I never seen them again.
And what they had considered to be a safe area is now no longer a sanctuary. One of the reasons the family moved here was because of security. There's a checkpoint at the end of the street guarding a television station that's here, but that has come at a cost. Recently, the head of that station was attacked in an assassination attempt, and this street has now become a target. For Mrs. Hussein, it's put a huge strain on the family, and she lays the blame squarely at the feet of the Americans.
They brought the destruction, the kidnapping, the looting, and they haven't achieved anything good for the Iraqi people.
And as the family looks ahead, there's very little optimism. 10 years ago, they were a healthy, happy family. Now, all of that is gone.
I don't have any hope for the future of my family, especially my son and daughters. She abandoned her studies and my son cannot go to school or even visit his relatives. He can't live his daily life like a normal person, so I have no hope for the future of my family.
Tony Cheng, CCTV, Baghdad.